Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chase.
It's that time again.
What time is it?
Time for
Fuck This Place!
Maybe even like 22 years ago. I'm in Toronto, and one night I'm walking home, and there has been construction on my street, and there was a sign that was like, danger. There are holes. But someone thought it was funny to move the sign.
Oh,
and I literally just with all confidence. It was dark. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I fell in the hole.
Oh my
God!
Oh my God!
And I tore both my Achilles tendons.
Oh my God!
And so it was on the corner of my house, and I had to I did army crawl home. Like I had nothing else to do. Like it was literally on my tummy, drag myself.
Like
and
Die
I
Hard.
had just moved into totally Die Hard, and I had just moved. Come out to the coast. And I had just moved into the third floor of an old house. But literally the week before, no elevators, and it was. I'm telling you, it was. The doctor said to me, it would have been better if I snapped the Achilles.
Oh my God!
Because then they would just open me up and put it back together. But a tear. Just needs to mend by itself. I was down for 3 months.
Oh man, yeah. See,
down for 3 months is I think a hell of a lot better than a required surgery.
Oh yeah.
I mean, as far as the bucks go,
I mean,
oh God, you're right. I mean, this is Canada. I wouldn't have cared.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we just have surgery for the hell of it on a Saturday. What do you feel like doing? Let's open me up. But I'm so sorry, and it's so painful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to I just don't want to admit that that's what it is. Yeah, I'm just telling myself it's a really nasty sprain.
Okay, so, hopefully it's just a really nasty sprain. Yeah.
It's just what I get for trying to play basketball.
Shame on you.
Yeah, that's what I get.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My crutches here in the background that I bought. I was telling Chase that I had to go on a little mini journey to find my own crutches. And then by the time I got them, I was just like, I don't fucking want to use them.
Exactly. I know crutches are awful. I have a walking cast somewhere. But anyway,
I'm just
and the crutches hurt your armpitties. That's what I don't
do
like
they
about
ever?
them.
They're not good. Have you seen those ones now that they have you kneel on it and you kind of roll yourself along?
Those are fun.
They look like they do, but then I go, is that better? It seems like a lot of drama.
It doesn't help your dork factor.
No. You are much less cool, to be honest.
Teens on razor scooters can still make fun of you on one of those.
In the sidewalks in LA, it's just pebbles that slow you down.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh
everything.
It's no good.
All right.
I should maybe intro the podcast.
Okay, let's do it.
Welcome to Fuck This Place, the podcast about jobs with Chase and Nick. My name is Chase.
My name is Nick, and with us today, fantastic guest, fantastic comedian, ladies and gentlemen, Debra Digiovanni.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
How are you
doing?
doing?
We've already been chatting, and
we like to do the podcast in media res. We just drop right into it. Literary folk.
We don't need to build up. Let's just do this. We were talking about planking when I arrived.
That's
very
true.
unsettling.
Nick cannot plank.
I can no longer plank.
No, well, good. You know what I mean? I feel like your life is gonna be better for it.
Yeah, planking is like one of those friends that after they're gone, you're like, yeah, I didn't need them.
I didn't need that. My life is not worse without them. But anyway.
Yeah, he kind of sucks.
All right, so what did we talk about jobs?
Yeah,
I'm excited already.
I'll guide us, Debra.
Okay,
Don't
good.
worry.
Do.
So Debra, the first segment on every podcast is a little segment we like to call "Fuck This Place?" ?
Yep, love it.
Where we decide if we would work somewhere or not.
Ooh, okay.
So we have looked up some Craigslist from the Toronto area. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to read 3 job titles. You're going to choose the one you don't want to look at. I'm going to look at the other 2. Just like we're browsing,
Okay.
And I'll do a little screen share in just a second. So first job title is Seeking Instagram Marketing Whiz for Musical Artist. Okay. Job title number 2 is Need One Heavy Barrel Moved. And job number 3, Maskless Haircut Wanted. So which one do you not want to click on?
I do not want to click on
Instagram marketing barrel or maskless haircut.
I'm going to say maskless haircut.
Yeah, you know what's going on there.
Yeah. It's going to be a long conversation with somebody you don't like.
It's going to be a lot of spitting.
And
A lot of spitting.
too much spitting.
Okay,
so I'm going to share.
Now we know this, that it doesn't sound good. The other two don't sound good.
Yeah, we know you're gonna want me. You want a maskless haircut because you're gonna be an asshole about the
Well,
whole
this
mask
is the
situation.
thing.
Yeah.
So we know your fucking deal. We get it.
That's the barrel.
This is now, so yeah, when our first post here that we're going to read is need one heavy barrel moved. And there's a picture to start. The first image that we are met with when we click on this ad is a picture of a, I mean, I guess, what one would think, I guess, it's a barrel in a parking lot. Just
from far away.
Old parking lot, maybe old barrel.
From far away.
Yeah, we're zooming in here and we got a lot of cracks. I mean, this is a not new parking lot and a not new barrel.
He took this picture like he didn't he thought maybe the barrel didn't want him to take a picture of it.
It's like I feel like he took a picture from a moving car.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like he didn't get out of the car to take that picture?
It definitely feels like that.
He had someone else in the car and he was like, there he is.
That's
That's that barrel.
Slow down. Yeah,
I know this is Toronto Craigslist, but this picture could be literally anywhere on the east coast of America or the northern hemisphere. We got a leafy green tree. There's what appears to be like a church with like a neon sign in the background. You see that?
Yes.
The situation here. Anyway, it's not a lot of fluff, to this barrel, which I guess makes sense. They just need one barrel moved. So that
does it say 900 pounds?
We're gonna get there. Yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah. Okay. So there's not a lot of text here, but it says the text begins, and it's an uncapital I, just so everybody knows. I have one times 900 barrels that I need moved from 3730 Kingston Road to the next door property, 3718 Kingston Road. Okay. We're just going to keep reading because there's only 4 lines of text here. The barrels are scattered around 3730 Kingston Road and need to be moved to the back corner of 3718 Kingston Road. Next sentence, can be done any time of day. Payment on completion. That's the post.
Oh my God.
So
the compensation. I'm sorry. The compensation is $50.
So
back
to line 1. So I have 1x 900 pounds barrels, right?
Yes.
That's what that says.
It's 1x 900 pounds. Yeah.
So, is it one 900-pound barrel or is it 900 barrels?
It is confusing, especially because the picture has one barrel very alone. You can tell that barrel is a lonely barrel, but in the second sentence, of course, it says the barrels are scattered around this address, and they need to move the next door property.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel unless that barrel's full of cement, it's not 900 pounds.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know how
it's like the size of a regular trash can.
Yeah, like a metal.
It's a very standard barrel.
Okay, now it also says too. We're forgetting. It says at the bottom, "Do not."
Oh, well, that's a standard Craigslist window.
Is that a standard Craigslist? Okay.
It says, "Don't contact me with unsolicited offers."
Don't talk to me about anything not barrels.
This guy's got standards now. Don't talk to me about anything not barrels. Okay. Did you ever watch Dexter?
I did, yeah.
Okay, in the later seasons, do you remember when it was
I've only seen the later seasons of Dexter.
Okay, so the later seasons, there was a group of boys that went to camp together, and then they became rapists and murderers like you do, and they stored girls in barrels like that. Do you remember?
Right.
That's instantly what I think.
Yeah, so these are people barrels.
I see that, and I'm like, and they stored it in a lye or whatever. I just assume that there's a dead body in that barrel.
I mean,
maybe in cement. Also, maybe in cement.
Also,
could be both. Could be both.
Could be both.
Yeah, because they want you to have your fingerprints on that barrel.
Yes, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like because I feel like if it wasn't something illegal or terrifying, or both, it's you're gonna tell me what's in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think you're
waste or something.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Now, I didn't think of that, but now that you're putting it out there, why else is this picture so far away from the barrel?
So far away,
Why?
There's
something in there he doesn't want to be close to.
Exactly. It's like, I own a barbecue restaurant and it's grease. Okay, but it's... There'd be more details. There's something wrong. And $50? Ugh.
$50 to go to jail.
Canadian dollars.
And 50 Canadian dollars, which is like $37.50. And I'll say this, like it just is. I got the currency exchange. But I'll tell you, that is like, and what breaks my heart is that someone probably did that. That's what makes me so sad that someone was like, I'm going to make $50.
I don't know. You'd be surprised. I don't count anybody out of the running here, but we've been in the Craigslist dregs for a while now, and we've seen some multiple posts. I'm not about this one specifically, but you know, the
That they
bites
haven't
come
found
slow.
anyone? Okay, all right.
I do think, you know, even if, let's just imagine that this is not a nefarious plot to, you know, frame you for murder aside, how did you get those barrels there in the first place?
Yes. What's the
How
story?
did you get the barrels? Here's a question for any of us. If you needed to get this size of a barrel, does anyone here know where you could get a standard industrial barrel to put stuff in?
I don't have any guess that's not like the docks. No, it's something that's also kind of criminal sounding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very
Totally.
vague. Yeah, I would go to Home Depot and I would know that they don't have it, but I would
Yeah,
look
like where do you
around.
purchase that? Where do you purchase those barrels?
Especially if you just want one of them.
Yes, like can I get 2 barrels out of it? It's an odd thing. Oh, I would love the backstory. I would love this story. I would like to see what happened. Is everyone still alive? You know what I mean?
So
like, was he paid in cash? Was it a Venmo? Who knows?
What do we think is going on though? Because it's like, okay, the first sentence implies one.
They got a bunch of
gigantic barrel.
They for sure have more barrels than $50 worth of moving barrels.
Oh, God, yeah.
For sure,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you don't think there's a chance that this guy is just really dumb and didn't know to put the barrel is? Oh no,
but
it's scattered. You're right, scattered. Oh, sorry. Every word throws me in a sense. Every word throws me again.
Yeah. Yeah. Scattered are like
scattered barrels.
Yeah.
No.
Like
You can't even account for how many barrels you have.
Like
No,
someone
I
threw
was
a bunch of
gonna say,
Legos on the ground.
exactly. You just threw it. I mean, like, what are you doing? You know.
So here's what I think. So to answer your question, Nick, I think that this person has, 4, maybe 11 barrels on this property.
Okay.
I do think that they are filled with either the person doesn't know the contents or he knows very precisely what the contents are and they're bad. But why they need to go next door, to me, is an even bigger question.
I forgot about the next door.
Because here's the thing. Again, I don't know what 900 pounds feels like, but it looks to me, based off of the photo, again, we're on relatively flat terrain.
Yes. Couldn't you knock it over and roll it?
You knock it over and roll it. Don't you have a couple of pals?
Yeah.
Or
For some pizza,
Do you think that or maybe there's a rivalry? Like there's like a Hatfields and McCoys thing where it's just like, he's like, that's your barrel. I'm not touching your barrel. You keep it on your side of the street.
No. And they're like away on vacation or something, and now's their chance to get back at them. Also, too, I feel like renting a dolly from Home Depot. Do you know what I mean?
It
Wouldn't that just be
really
like a
could solve a lot of this.
situation.
Probably cost you
forgot about
$9
that.
to rent it.
But I forgot about the next door. Because like if you were saying like help me get these to the dump or something, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the whatever.
Now,
plant.
granted, I'm not super familiar with but it seems to me like this isn't like a super duper, rural area of Toronto.
No, it's not. It's very industrial. That neighborhood.
So again, like it's
So
not
barrels
like
aren't foreign.
because if you're in the country, next door could be half a mile.
Yes.
Which is like
No.
that is
This is like just it's next door.
It's a hop, skip, and a
fully
jump.
next door. Yeah.
Well, again, very ominous, this barrel, the longer you stare at it.
Yeah, right. It gets creepier and creepier.
It is. I also mentioned that it's a forest green, just like a please don't
Oh,
look
see, I
at me
couldn't see
barrel.
the color. Okay, yeah.
This feels like this is like the opening shot of like a crime documentary, and then it's also the closing shot, and you go like, "Oh shit, that's the barrel! Oh no!"
It comes full circle, like, it was the barrel.
It's the barrel.
It
It's
was
the barrel. And so the main character just walking by the barrel. Over.
Yes,
You're like, "No, it's in there. It's in there."
Yes.
Very well crafted Breaking Bad episode.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, then I'm gonna say fuck this place just because I don't want to get framed for.
Yeah, I'm gonna
whatever.
say fuck
Murder
the
or
place
anything.
just because I've scared myself.
Yeah. I'm gonna
told
say fuck
myself-
this place because there's nothing good about this post. Like there's not.
Not even the
there's not-
capitalization
Like
of letters.
even if you would have said $1,500.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Then you'd be like,
Yeah. Really sweet the pot.
Yeah.
Or should I
know?
say the barrel?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you do this. Now you're involved in the Epstein shit.
Yeah.
Just for $50 too,
You know?
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, then let's take a look at post number 2,
Okay, love
which
it.
is
I forget already. I'm excited.
seeking Instagram marketing whiz from musical artist. And we again have a photo. And
Oh, I love it when we have a photo.
I love a photo as well. So what we have immediately is, I would guess this is probably an album cover. You know, the text up top, it says Uncle May May.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, that
And
sounds
then-
terrible.
Don't like the
Oh,
sound of
no.
that. And then there's like a almost like it's like someone's trying to make a coaster for an Urban Outfitters. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like a illustration of a GMC van
Oh no!
with like several, I would call them pretty hip colors. You know, like the color scheme's not
They're
wholly
pastel,
off.
very pastel.
Pastels. There's a silhouette of a dolphin. There's I'm guessing that there's this pink circle might be like a sun representation. There's a couple of them, those very hip sort of like leaves. I call them like high five leaves. You know, and they just look.
Or are those leaves they like fan the pharaoh with?
Yeah, palms. They look like
Yeah,
palm
yeah,
fronds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the images, and then the text again. We have Uncle May May up top, and then embedded in the sun, but not very well, sort of like with a label maker almost. It says Van Life, and then underneath it says what I'm guessing is some sort of German-esque name, like Mayer Steinberg, M-E-H-E-R Steinberg. So that's what we got here. But again, if you took the text off of this could be a set of 4 coasters at an Urban
Oh,
Outfitters.
totally, absolutely.
You know, cheaply produced.
That's
but
like
none-
that's a Secret Santa gift at the
Yeah.
office. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely
So much.
right.
Yeah, and
So
any way you arrange this picture, it sucks. It's a dumb picture no matter what you
It
do
is.
with it.
It's accurate. So read the ad again. What was the ad again?
Okay, so the title is Seeking Instagram Marketing Whiz for a Musical Artist. I'm guessing this is our music here. So let's read the text. I'm looking for the perfect person to partner with to help market my new album, Van Life. Okay. I'm guessing this is the album that we're looking at. The ideal candidate would be proficient at Instagram, but it is Instagram is how it's spelled. Have a love for music and a love for my music.
Oh,
Pay negotiable. Negotiable. And then there's a link to this person's Bandcamp, which I think we're gonna have to click on that.
Let's dive into that.
Let's just go ahead and get started on that one. So when you go to Bandcamp, there's up top it says Van Life, and then again the same image of our like Urban Outfitters coaster, Uncle May May, and then there's a track list, you know, like a standard Bandcamp, but there is some text down below which I feel like would be smart to read.
yeah.
So the text says, "My honey and I were on Hollywood Boulevard one day and bought one of those hand-burned CDs from a hip hop artist named Papa Bear."
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
It fast became our favorite spelled the British way, while driving around Southern California in our van. In the winter of 2018, my honey said to me, "I want you to write me an album like Papa Bear." I said, "Okay."
Oh.
This is a conversation that you know, when you're like just shy of being blackout drunk in like a dive bar, and like you run and you start realizing like I can talk to anybody in this bar, you know. And this is the guy you start talking to, and you're like, I shouldn't have talked to anybody in this bar. Anyway, so he continues. Whenever we'd go for walks on the beach, we'd come back with another song title. All right. After about 9 titles, the songs pretty much wrote themselves.
Oh my God, that is.
No, they didn't.
I'm pretty sure that's not how it goes, but okay.
They for sure didn't. My honey went back to Canada, and I locked myself in a van for the next 2 months and made this album. It was recorded in our beloved Sweet Pants on the beach in Malibu and the Hollywood Hills on solar power.
Wow, this
All of
is
this is getting better and better.
Yeah, this is a villain's origin story if I've ever heard it.
Yeah, absolutely right. Like he comes out with this album and she hates it. Okay, look, there's just a couple more sentences. It is my wish that van goers and non-van goers everywhere have as much fun listening to this as I had making it. Honestly, that really is your best case scenario. Thanks for listening.
You're not going to make any money. No. So you better just hope people have fun.
Thanks for listening. Mayor, which I guess is the person's name.
Sure.
And then there's a bunch of credits, you know. The song titles, we'll just read a couple of them. One of them is Sweet Pants has a brand new nose guard. So High and Oh High, pretty great, I would say.
Oh, yeah, all right. That one I'd listen to, maybe.
Yeah, just another $100. Touched by a Dolphin is one. Where's Junior? Don't like number 6. I'm not going to read that out loud. Sedona Shuffle and Never Let It Go is the closer.
I believe that these are things that they said while on a walk.
Oh God, yeah.
I believe that.
This is like if like you know how like teens will go on like a beach trip and they come up with a bunch of like inside jokes and then they just like write it on like a piece of cardboard and they're like we're so random and we're gonna remember this in 6 months, and then you go back to the things that they said and like not even they remember them.
Yeah.
But instead they turn
like,
it into an album.
This is also like he's not like I picked up my first guitar at age 7. Do you know what I mean?
No,
yeah.
Is this what we're saying? Like he just was with his honey and they decided to make, I don't understand.
Yeah, she was like, hey, get into music for me.
Do it now. All right. Okay. Right now. All right. I mean, I guess sure, that's legit, I guess, but it just seems strange.
It does seem a bit strange. I think that one thing that I feel like we're really glossing over because it was such a part of the premise is getting approached by a man on Hollywood Boulevard and getting like a burned CD, which is extremely common.
Which is extremely common, but nobody buys them. Jesus.
Nobody buys them.
Oh my God.
And also like, that's just, Papa Bear made one album, one mixtape.
And God bless him.
And God bless him for sure. But I would also say that like Papa Bear's better than you. No question. Papa Bear is trying to make it in music in one way or another, and he's actually so intent on making it in music that he's handing out music on Hollywood Boulevard, which again, you're not going to get super far with that. But nonetheless, like I can guarantee you Papa Bear's better than this like weirdo van life situation. I don't think good.
I was gonna say we've gotten so into this guy's weird life and maybe end of his relationship. I can't tell, but
for sure.
What does he want from us again?
He wants us to let's go back to the post. He wants us to run his Instagram.
That's it. He wants. Can you upload pictures for me? Why'd you tell me all that other shit?
Well, to be fair, we did click on this Bandcamp.
I guess, yeah.
But I will say that the fact that the pay is negotiable means that there is no pay.
Oh, that's it. When you say pay negotiable, that means it's negotiable that I'm going to pay you. That's what that is. It's not the amount. That's like, will you get paid? Negotiable. I mean, that's all there is to that.
That's correct. And I'm also kind of curious, like, where is this guy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's doing van life. He's not in Toronto, is he?
No. Oh, is he not in Malibu somewhere? No.
He said,
I assume he sleeps on the beach. That's what it sounds like.
For sure. Well, he locked himself in his van for 2 months, which there's no way that's true. You gotta get food. We don't know what this guy's up to, but his honey did go back to Canada. Which really makes you wonder whether there was a honey in the first place.
Canada. She's in Canada.
Or do you think he's like? Do you think he's crazy? Do you think he's like they went on a few dates. She dumped him, or she was never going to be around. She's like, well, I don't live here, and then he spun up this whole thing. I mean, I'm still just weirded out by the barrel thing, so I might be like taking that same character.
Here's what I think.
Here,
I think that everything that this person said happened, and I think that's scarier to me. That the person isn't making any of this up. That he and his honey were like doing a bunch of drugs on the beach, and she was like, "Can you make me an album like Papa Bear?" And he was like, I will see you in 2 months. You got to give me some time for the mixing, babe. And of course he will never see her again.
No.
But
I feel like he's sort of like, he's one of the. We've all met this guy. You know what I mean? A version of this guy. Do you know what I mean? And he's like, he's not a bad person.
No,
but
not
he's
at
someone
all.
that he's not. But you leave
Toothless.
and you go, I never want to talk to him again. Like, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like you know what I mean? It's just like you turn to your friend and you go, don't ever leave me alone with him. Like that is just what it is. He's got that, like he's super positive and he seems like probably like whatever they call a hippie now, that kind of vibe. And you know what I mean? And he wants to tell people, everyone that he's met about van life and Uncle May May. And it's just, he's a little too enthusiastic.
Yes.
Just that kind of thing that you're just like, no.
I completely
like,
agree.
You know what I mean?
I feel this guy greets you with his elbows.
Oh God.
He doesn't shake hands. Whoever this guy is, he doesn't shake hands. He's not a
ever.
handshaker.
I mean, pre-COVID, like this was still.
Yeah, this is a guy who has and he uses that to let you know who he is immediately.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm a weird, fun guy.
Every tattoo has a full story. Every tattoo has a full story. You know what I mean?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. And I kind of want to see him too a little bit. Like there's a part of me. I wish there was a picture because I'm just like.
Yeah, you wish that he, for instance, he even had an Instagram that he could share with you and say, "This is, by the way, the Instagram you're going to be managing."
And that whoever takes this gig, it's going to be long days of listening to Mayor talk. Long days. Long days.
Well, now I will
phone
say,
calls in the night.
Oh God, I'm inspired. Oh God, Mayor.
And that's why Mayor needs another mayor.
Yeah.
If there's another mayor out there who is also wants to talk at somebody, if they could just talk at each other for weeks.
Perfect.
Even I feel like they would. Again, they'd never make a single post on Instagram, but they would have a pretty good time, I think. And that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, I think that's what he's looking for. A friend.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think he's looking
for
a good time. Looking for a friend. Yeah.
He may or may not pay. Like that's it.
Oh
that's
yeah.
all.
But they're gonna have some good times. Second mayor.
Oh my God, van life 2, here it comes.
Yeah. I will say. Oh, go ahead, Chase.
No, you please.
I will say I'm not going to be one of his friends. I don't want anything to do with this guy just because I feel any small interaction I have with him, he'll talk about forever. So
God.
I don't want it. I'm out. I'm fuck
Same. No, we pass on this one.
Yeah.
What did I say yes to? What was the job I said yes to?
You didn't say yes to.
Oh no, I said no. Yeah, I said. Oh God, yeah, I said the haircut guy. Oh God. So am I taking one of these jobs? Oh no.
Yeah, that's the end of the podcast. Is you just start working.
I start tomorrow.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
Wanted to remind you that you can text the podcast anytime you want.
Night or day, whenever the hell you want.
It's fine. It's the number is 470-BAD-JOBS. The actual numbers are 470-223-5627. That's the number.
So yeah, anytime you want. Like I said, middle of the night, whenever. We don't got jobs right now. Whatever's going on with you is going on with us.
I mean, absolutely. Maybe you still have a job and it's like shitty. You can tell us about that. Maybe you don't have a job and it was shitty before.
Maybe you're getting one of those weird temperature forehead checks right now.
For sure.
You want to pull out your phone and just say, you know what, fuck you guys. I'm going to text 470-BAD-JOBS.
470-223-5627 is the number. That is the number. And you can also call us if you want, but I mean, whatever. It's your choice. That's the point here.
Deb, what is the first job you ever had?
Ooh, okay. Beyond babysitting, which I think girls often go through a babysitting phase. I started babysitting when I was about 12, which is far too young to be looking after another life. That's crazy. But the first official job that I ever had, where I got a proper paycheck with my name on it and stuff, I worked at I grew up in a very small town in southwestern Ontario. 7,000 people when I was little.
Oh, baby.
And small. And, Canadian, very, no diversity at all. I'm Italian and we were considered,
wow, flavorful.
The minority. But I worked for a Chinese restaurant and it was, a little tiny restaurant, and me and 4 of my girlfriends from high school all worked there. And it was, we had so much fun. I was 14. We were all 14.
Oh, wow.
And and it's which is very young. It seems very young to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't licensed though. The place was not licensed. So that's why I think
in any way? What do you mean?
In any way. It was just a ramshackle hut. No, it was, it was not licensed. So that's why we all could work there. And it was they did it was very, that sort of American Chinese food, like just chicken balls and shit like that. Yeah, not good. It was it wasn't, but it was run by a nice family, and you know, we all worked there, and I remember it wasn't air conditioned, so it was so hot all the time. And it did buffet, you know, it did like a Saturday and Sunday night. It was a buffet, so it was always really busy. And I remember like we had to wear like our uniform was black pants or skirt with a white shirt and a black bow tie. All right, so that was what it was. Yeah, but so we're all like 14-year-old girls, and like it would be in the summer, it would be so hot, so we all wore like mini skirts without any tights or leggings because it was so hot. And like we remember like having those moments where we're like, why is it just men in the restaurant? Like it was really moments where we're like, have you noticed that like it's just single men sitting here? And it was very like, this is odd. But it was, I worked there, I'd probably say I worked there for at least 2 years because it was really fun because I mean, I worked with like my friend Shannon and Julie and Tina and Sheila. Like we used to have fun, you know, and you could trade shifts between each other. The one thing I do remember that was like we made nothing in tips. People did not tip because it was smorgasbord mostly. So I guess they were just like, we don't need to tip anyone. And there was
at a buffet especially.
You know what I mean? Right? And then you're cleaning away stuff. And it was like, we worked hard. You'd be sweaty and dirty by the end of the night. But like I would come away like if they started the shift at like, I remember it was right beside the high school I went to too. Like you could walk there from the high school. So like often like you'd go over at like 4 o'clock and probably stay until about 10 or 11. And I would make maybe like $8 in tips.
Okay.
Like seriously. And it was just like, I remember like if you got double digits, you're like, oh my God, you were so like, I need $14. Like you're so excited. But the woman, her name was also Debra, but everyone called her Debbie. And she was a crazy little woman. She was fun. And she would let us, she wouldn't let us, but she would like turn a blind eye for, like they had booze, but it was like, they didn't serve it, you know, legally.
And they didn't do a lot of things legally.
Yeah, they didn't do a lot of things legally. But she would like turn a blind eye to us, like, you know, sneaking plastic containers of vodka before the dance, and and stuff like that. But it was a fun job. Like I remember, it was fun. We had fun.
I would say,
together, you know what I mean? We had fun.
I would say right now, like, okay, what you've told us so far is this town of 7,000 people has, which considers the Italians to be the minorities of the town, in a Chinese restaurant. This had to be the most happening place in town. This is by far the most interesting place in town.
It was rammed. It was the only Chinese place in town.
Sure.
That was it. And
the authority.
It was rammed Friday. Oh yeah, God, yeah. Saturday and Sunday nights, it was rammed. Like it was the buffet was just nonstop. Like it would be, sometimes the line would be out the door. And I remember once it was like, I always hated Chinese food. And I remember I was working some Saturday afternoon, like folding napkins like you do. And you know, nobody was there. And her husband, Richard, who was the cook, he was like, you don't need the food, huh? He's like, cause all the other girls did. And I was like, no, I don't like the Chinese food. And he was just like, this isn't Chinese food. And I was just like seriously, he's like, this isn't, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then he was like, why don't you, he goes, you finish up doing whatever. And he's like, I'm making lunch, because it was Debbie, and then he had a daughter, just a little girl, and he was like, I'm making lunch. And he's like, why don't you have lunch with us? And he made like proper food. And it was like, it was that moment of just like, oh no, this I like. And it was just like stuff that I was like, I don't know what any of this is. And he was like, just try it. And it was so delicious. And I was like, why don't you serve this? And he was like, seriously? It's like, in this town, you think anyone's gonna? I was like, no, yeah, you're right. But then it was just like, from then on, I was like, oh, I love Chinese food. But
yeah, like I've stopped them from putting maple syrup on the fried rice.
Pretty much. It was very close to that. A lot of that sweet and sour sauce, or that bright fluorescent orange. Stain your hands for days. You know what I mean? Like,
really good for like hangovers, you know?
That kind of Chinese food is like that. It serves a purpose for sure.
Yeah, it's good for diarrhea too. But
that also a purpose. But yeah. So that was like one of those little moments where like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, there's a bigger world out there.
There's a bigger world out there. Yeah,
Rick knows it.
Yeah, very cute. But also too, and then there was also a terrible story, but I've told this before. I'll tell again. It was also on a Saturday afternoon or whatever, when because there'd only be one of us working when it was during the day, because it was never busy. So and then there was like a little waitress station, you know what I mean, like where we'd do drinks and whatever, cutlery and stuff. And it was little, like it was just like a little slice. And you know, we were all, you know, skinny little 14-year-olds, so like 2 of us could fit in there, but it'd be like, oh, baby, coming through, like it'd be tight, right?
Yeah.
So I remember a dude came in, and Richard was in the back, and Debbie was like, I don't know, I think she's like, I'm gonna go do some errands. And I was like, okay. So I was just alone in the restaurant, and an old man came in, and he was, even at 14, I knew he was drunk. I was like, okay, this is a drunk man. And he wanted coffee, and we just, rarely did coffee. So I made a pot of coffee, and then he started talking to me, and he was being like really like overt. And I, at 14, was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, you're Italian, right? And I was like,
oh my God.
and you know what I mean? Like being all creepy. And then he got up, and he came over to the waitress station, and I was like, oh no, I'll bring your coffee to you. I said, you can go sit down. And then he started like walking, and then where this is going. So then he basically assaulted me, and I I freaked out. And then Debbie came back into the restaurant, thank God, and then he scurried and went to sit down back at his seat. And then I was just like,
my God.
And she was like, what's the matter? It was just, I walked with a coffee pot into the kitchen with her, and she's like, come with me, what's the matter? And I told her what happened. He basically put his hand up my skirt, and I know, awful. But I remember, like, she was one of those things that I was just like, I love you. She was like, why didn't you smash the coffee pot in his fucking face? And I was like, I'm allowed to do that? She's like, Debra! And I was like, oh, and she goes, no, not the next time. She goes, but if that ever happens again, you take the coffee, you smash it in his face. And then Richard comes back, and he's like, what just happened? And he's like, that man out there assaulted Debra. And he's like, what the? He grabbed a fucking machete, ran out to the dining room, and said, get the fuck out of my restaurant. And he chased the man out of the restaurant. And it was just like that. I was like, I love you guys. They were just... And then we closed the restaurant for a couple hours. They made me lunch again, and then they sent me home with my paycheck. And I was just like, okay. But it was one of those like places that I was like, it's kind of a terrible story, but they were good people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like
that story rounded out a lot better than I thought it was going
to. A little bit, right? But I remember her. She's like, you smash him in the face with a coffee pot, and I was like,
yeah. I think it's like really funny that like her rationale, like she's just like, yeah, you can smash a coffee in someone's face. We don't even serve Chinese food here. You can do anything you want.
You can do it. She's like, we barely serve coffee. I won't miss that pot. And I was like, fair enough. And then God bless Richard, like very classic, apron tied around his waist with a machete.
Yeah.
Had a machete in the kitchen.
Good stories. Had a machete in the kitchen. I don't know what he used it
Revelations.
for. I guess,
fruit, maybe.
Revelations. So there, fruit, something. But
dramatic slicing of fruit.
I can still see the man's face too. When you have those, it's just like, I can see his face. But anyway, there we go.
Do you know that restaurant still open?
I don't think so, but it was open for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like it was open like way after we all left. Probably like a good 10 or 15 years after. Like I even left. Graduated high school to leave. So But then I saw the daughter, I wish I could remember her name. I saw her because then I moved to Toronto from there. And then I remember like I was working somewhere and saw her, and she was like 20, and I had known her when she was like 3. You know what I mean? So it was like those kind of little moments. You're like, oh, yeah, cute.
Those threads. How did you leave? The job.
Why do we leave? I don't know. Like, you know what? I got a job at the local drugstore chain, which was called Shoppers Drug Mart, which was the best job.
Really?
And that was it. Oh, man. Oh, let me tell you, I worked at that. It's a nationwide chain, and I worked at Shoppers Drug Mart probably from about 16. Like until I was about 21, I went away to college, and my boss, again, a fucking fantastic woman named Patricia, she got me a job in Toronto. She's like, oh, okay, with a job. I was like, okay. And I remember like, okay, so this is the 80s. You have to this is mid 80s. And I think she paid us like, I think like $9 an hour in like 1987. Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? Amazing. We were like, all my friends, everyone wanted a job here. At a drugstore, like we just stocked shelves and rang through stuff. And again, I worked with a bunch of friends, and really, it was great. The woman that owned it was the pharmacist, and she was just lovely. And we used to have like, holiday parties and stuff. And she was so cool. And there were 2 twins, identical twins, that were also the other 2 pharmacists, but they were identical twins and pharmacists. And
that sounds very Canadian. I don't know why.
Very Canadian, but it was so lovely. And that was and like. I remember like having that moment of like, what? Like she gave us a raise like every year. By the time honestly, so like I probably quit working there in like 1993 or something. And I was making like $15 an hour.
You could have retired. You could have just stayed on, got pension.
Like, now it's like, what's minimum wage now? I don't even know. Is it 15? Is it even $15?
Not US wide.
Not mostly, no.
No, you know what I mean? So it was just like, wow, this woman was. I remember she was
cared.
So cool. She was the shit. She cared. And so, it was a really good job. I really enjoyed working there. That was a good one.
You didn't know it then. You didn't know it then, but she also had a machete in the back. Every great job comes with one machete.
Probably that is. I'm telling you, that's a requirement for my employers. Do you have a machete? Because if not, I'm out. That's how. That's
Gotta
how
be
it
a
is.
secret, though.
Yeah. What's your coffee breaking policy? What's your coffee pot breaking in the face policy?
Am I allowed to? But I remember too. That was in the mall. The drugstore was in the mall, and
really?
we all worked in the mall. You know, like everyone worked. My twin sister, because I have a twin sister, a fraternal twin sister. She worked at the grocery store with my best friend Shannon.
The grocery store in the mall.
So there was like it was the food court, it was the drugstore, and then it was the grocery store. And Joanne worked there. So did Julie, and so did Shannon. And it was like, and then one of the other girls I think worked. It was fun. Little small town. It was fun. Not bad. Like seriously, like I still now to this day, if someone was one of your best jobs, I'm like Shoppers Drug Mart for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like as a teenager, still one of the best jobs I've ever had. They treated us nicely. We had fun.
Yeah, it turns out all you have to do to be such an amazing person is just pay people well enough.
Pay people well and be
nice
kind.
enough.
I mean, that's what a revelation. So there you go.
So that's probably the best first two jobs we've ever heard.
Oh
Pretty
wow!
much.
Yeah.
Normally you get maybe 50% at best, but
Yeah.
So
But also too though, like I also I was gonna say it's like paycheck, but it's like technically babysitting, but then technically my first real job, a summer job, was the town that I grew up in grew tobacco. So everyone in town, you harvested tobacco.
Of course.
So one of my jobs was harvesting tobacco, and that was terrible work. It was terrible
It's
work.
harvesting.
It was
harvesting.
I mean, like just like disgusting.
What exactly does that
dirty.
entail? What are you doing?
Okay, so tobacco grows like into this gigantic plant. Okay,
it's like it's tall as corn. Like
it's as tall as corn. It can be like 6-7 feet high. So and it grows in a series of leaves, and they call it like they called it like sands, which was obviously in the dirt in the ground, the lowest one, and then first, second, thirds, and fourths. All right, that's not clever, but that's
the levels
that's
of leaves.
A level of leaf, and so it was. You just basically you went through it as they matured. So you'd go first sands, and we'd take the entire of sand, and then you go into the first, and that was it. And then the boys would pick it, and then my job was always like putting it into like barrels and like on like a rack
so that it could
be hung and dried in a kiln.
Right.
So we were always like the name of our job was literally fluffer. Enter jokes, I know, but that's what it was. You fluffed. You just put whatever. And so and then someone would hang it, and then it became tobacco. But it was just tobacco too is like it's got a very thick resin on it, tobacco gum. And so what would happen, you would work it and it would like coat you in tobacco gum. So the boys had to shave their arms, and like it destroyed your nails because it was just like thick, and it looked like hash. Like when you roll it off, it would look like hash. But it was just like up to your elbows, and you'd have to use like this very strong, ridiculous soap. It was crazy. But again, at the same time, I think I probably worked my first year. I was 12, my first summer, because everyone did it. Like you just did it.
It's just like what the town.
It was just what you did. Everyone did, but it also paid really well.
Right.
Like you'd start at 5 o'clock in the morning. You usually were done by about 11 a.m. And they would pay us I was 12 years old making $70 a day.
That's incredible.
Do you know what I mean? It's like at 12, you're just like, oh God. I mean, you could make thousands of dollars a summer. And so that was the real like first job. And everyone did it. Everyone did.
But I was going to say,
it was so much money.
But it's also like almost a cultural thing too.
Oh God,
it's like one of the things that everyone, like a rite of passage kind of.
It was absolutely, and that's it. And there were good farms. You know what I mean? There was a family that owned a bunch of farms, and you always wanted to get on one of their farms because they just had more updated, more modern equipment, so it was easier, and they paid better, and it was just. I mean, it was terrible backbreaking work, but it was it only, and the thing is too, it only lasted for like 6 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So when you did it, you were just like, well, this is, and actually it was so part of the culture of the town that high school didn't start until the end of September.
Yes. Right.
For us, because they had to let harvest finish. So most people would go, other little municipalities, like little towns around us would start like school on the 8th of September, and we would come to the 8th, we'd all get the day off, we'd get the one day, we'd, sign up for all of her classes, whatever, get everything. And then the school would basically be like, see ya. And you would all show back up on the 28th when
No
harvest was
way.
done.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Canada's awesome.
Yeah, what a
It's
what a
not
tale.
bad. It's not
I
bad.
did not expect a double back on
I know.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
tobacco farming.
I know it.
Yeah. But even that was like kind of cool.
It was.
It's
It
like-
was.
It comes
and
back
again,
to
you
also
worked
being
with
cool.
your friends and you listen to music, and
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
it was
Uh-huh.
really okay.
And also,
even as
you
gross
know,
as it was.
As a you forget about the way that like agriculture used to be organized was
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was like a family activity.
Yes.
And like you put the young kids into the tough stuff, you know.
That's why farmers always had so many children.
Yeah,
That's
because
they're
like their
they're not
bodies
dumb.
are like
Exactly.
actively regenerating. You know what I mean? You don't want to put
Absolutely.
a 30 or 40-year-old person
No.
on that same job. You
No.
want the ones that are in the
seriously.
midst of sprouting.
Like you were like 12 to like 20 was the major sort of
because they're going to
limit
bounce
of
back in
age.
24
Oh, God, yeah.
hours.
Mhm.
Wow.
Okay, so those are your first set of jobs.
Yeah.
So moving on, what would you say is the worst job you've ever had?
Oh God, I worked. It wasn't the worst job; it was the worst boss I've ever had. I worked at a TV station in Toronto, and I was a switchboard operator and like the front desk girl. So it was a TV station. And I'm like, morning, hello, it's Debra. You know, it's fine, fun job, super fun job. And again, I worked with a bunch of girls that I love. I met my best friend there. We've been best friends for 25 years. But the woman that I worked for was a psycho. She was completely psychotic, and like the kind of thing that like, you know, now, you know, I was like 24, and you know, if I would have like, you know, if you were. You knew now, you would have been like, oh, this is illegal, what she's doing. She used to call me at home to yell at me. Like it was just, she was just crazy. And I remember like, she was just like a really unhappy woman. And she employed like 5, you know, nice, cute, happy girls, you know, and she just hated everything. She hated her life, and she just made our life hell. Like she just, everything she could do, like, the Devil Wears Prada, but like times 1,000.
What would
you know what I mean?
What would she call you at home about? You know, like
Something happened during the day that she didn't like, and she had to say something, and you'd be like, "We can talk about this tomorrow." No, we'll talk about it right now, and we'd be like, "Oh my God!" And she would just scream at it, and like if anyone said anything like that receptionist was rude to me, she would, you know, always take their side, and I'd be like, "Look, I know when I'm rude. You know what I mean? I'll tell you if I was rude. I wasn't rude. Like it was just." Ridiculous. And she was also the hospitality manager for the whole station, and it was, you know what I mean, and it was just like, this bitch is the husband. I mean, she was so awful. And so she would, you know, she would make us do a lot of stuff, and then like she would take all the credit for it. And like they used to actually, it was the location for the Toronto Film Festival was the opening night party was always at this TV station. So I used to work the Toronto, the TIFF, you know, the big festival. And she, I mean, again, it was like, she would just treat us like crap. Like we would go and do all this and be lovely and charming and, you know, work the floor and whatever, make sure everyone had what they needed. And she would take all the credit. And she was always drunk by 8 o'clock and yelling at it. I mean, she was just a shrew is the perfect name for her. Like, honestly, and there were like days like you would go home and like, I remember like crying to my boyfriend going, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. She was that awful. She was just such an absolute tyrant. And you know what the beautiful thing is though, now when I left, because I was starting comedy, when I left, you know, you have those moments where you're just like, oh, when I leave, I'm going to fucking rip her a new one. And you don't do anything. You just go, thank you for the opportunity. Bye. But like in my mind, I was like, I'm going to fucking shred her. And I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she's dead. You know.
Yeah.
The ultimate own. How did you get the job? How did you fall into it?
This is I'd quit college by this point, and all of my my roommates and my friends had been like, you should do comedy, and I was like, no, I'm scared. And then they're like, I had quit college, I needed a job, and my roommates were like, honestly, you should be doing comedy. And I was like, I can't, like, I'm too scared. And they're like, oh, you know, why don't you should call down to the TV station and see if they have anything. And I literally, this was, you know, early 90s. I literally was just like, okay. So I, hello, I'm looking for a job. And they just went, yeah, one of the switchboard operators quit today. Can you start tomorrow? And I was just like,
whoa.
Okay.
Yes.
And the thing is, it was switchboard operator and tour guide.
Ah,
So
there we go.
that's where that worked for me.
Talk to
'cause
me
their
about
job
these
was fun.
tours.
Oh, dude, they were they were so fun, and everyone else hated doing them, and I was really good at them, and so they were like,
Right.
"You just be the tour guide from now on," and I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay." And it was just like, it was like a 7th grade class from a suburb, and they would come in because it was like, when I say like TV station, like it was kind of cool. Like it was when I told people I worked there, like it was at the time the networks were like a local channel called City TV that played, Friends and whatever. And then it was Bravo, which still exists. And we had our music network as well. And
The Canadian.
so, yeah, it was called Much Music was the network. And it was, super popular.
I
And
remember watching like Much Music when I finally got like satellite or something.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah,
I was like,
and
what the
that
fuck
was-
is this?
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
So then we would just do tours, and it was like, it was a TV station too that like they were very open to letting people learn how to do stuff. Like they'd be like, "You want to do this?" Like my best friend at the time, we started as switchboard, then she became an editor, and then another girl that worked with Sharon, they let her, she became a producer eventually. So it was just like all these other things. So it was kind of a cool place. And so it was just like you'd walk around and show everything, where everything was made, and their whole thing was very hands-on. And we don't hide the backstage kind of thing. It was it was
So you're just showing
revolutionary
like
for the
7th
90s.
graders around,
Pretty much,
and just
pretty
being
much,
like, this is
yeah.
how TV is made.
This is literally that's exactly what it was, and it was fun,
And they were
it was,
psyched
and there
'cause,
was and there was like 2 tours a day every day, Monday to Friday. There were 2 tours
which means
a
you
day.
get off the boards.
So, oh yeah, God, it was great. I was just like, I'll do it every day, and so they let me because I would be funny and fun, and yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Did they have weird questions, the kids? Like, you know what I mean?
They
Like,
would-
show me Batman, or,
Yeah, pretty much. Like it would be stuff like that, but it would also too. Like I remember getting in a little bit of trouble because I would they'd be like, you have to say, because there was a script, and then I would never completely stick to the script because it was more interesting what I was saying. So then a little bit of that, they'd be like, okay, because I would give them behind the scenes details and stuff. Because like the
this person's a
VJs,
bitch. Yeah.
pretty much, because the VJs, like they were like, they were like celebs in Toronto. You know what I mean? They were. So. That what's she like? And then you would say,
Yeah.
give them in. And actually, what happened? I left them to start working at the TV station to start comedy, and then years later, probably like 5 years after I started comedy, the music network started a show called Video on Trial, and then they were like, "Doesn't Debra do comedy?" And they called me in, and they put me on the show, and it was literally the one thing that I'm still today grateful for, because it was the best thing that ever happened to my career.
Wow.
It was the best thing that I worked on. That show. It was like a talking head show that we stole the idea from VH1 or something.
Of course.
And we just made fun of videos, and it was huge. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was on the air from 2006 to 2013, and it was huge.
It was a catalyst for you.
Yeah. Oh God, it was so. Do you know who Sabrina Jalise is?
I'm not
She
familiar.
is she's on that Carol's second act. She's always been a working writer. She and I worked on it together, and we just had fun. Eddie Dilisepi, do you know Eddie Dilisepi?
Yeah.
Eddie and I worked on that show together, and and there were a solid 3 or 4 years where kids would run up to me in the street. Like that's
Right.
where that was.
Yeah, and a lot of people, people don't know, and I'm not super familiar with the ins and outs of this, but as far as Canadian media and broadcasting goes, there's a fair amount of infrastructure there.
Yes.
That the Canadian government supports. Is that?
Yes. Yeah,
there's,
very much. Yeah, very
certain
much.
Percentage
And
of Canadian made stuff that needs to be on the air. Or whatever?
Exactly. When I was working there, the CRTC, that's the board that governs it. It was, you had to have 33% of Canadian content, no matter what. And then like 5 years ago, they changed it. Now it's only 7%.
That sucks.
When I was working there, I know. When I was working there, it was 33%. So yeah, but so I worked there. It was awful, and then when I came back and I started doing Video on Trial, it was literally the best thing that ever happened to me. Because now it's honestly when I'm in Canada and I tour Canada, it's the kids that watched Video on Trial that come to see me, because they would watch it and they were 16,
exactly,
and now.
And now they can
years
pay
later,
they can pay
30.
for
They're
tickets to a comedy
34,
club.
and they come see me oh, I loved you on that show, and I'm like, great. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah, I'm glad you came to the show.
Yeah,
I'm very
exactly.
glad.
Yeah. So it's good. You know what I mean? Because when people teenagers, when you like someone as a teenager,
Oh my God, you
it's a
fucking
thing,
love 'em.
right?
Uh-huh.
It's a thing.
They're like
You, grow
they're
up.
like a part of you.
They are.
yeah.
You still, even no matter
Uh-huh.
what, you still just be like, yeah, I love you.
Yeah.
So still, I still get, I loved you on that show, and I'm like, thank you so much. It's very nice. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear that, Jennifer Love Hewitt? I'm not weird.
right?
I still love you.
I still love you.
Dude, I was doing laundry. It's so weird. You brought like 2 days ago, and she was on a TV show. I think it's called it's like a ghost show where she talks.
Ghost Whisperer.
Ghost Whisperer. And honestly, not a bad show.
Sure.
No, it's
Not a
not.
bad show.
I watched
It's
the whole
really
thing.
not. I'm not kidding. Not a bad show. Okay.
I didn't care for the last season, but everything up into it I thought was pretty bulletproof.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty good. All right. Well,
I haven't seen a single episode except for the half that I saw on a laundromat, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" But yeah, no, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's very good.
She's the hottest woman in a small town, and also she sees ghosts and runs an antique store. And
double.
runs an antique store.
Yeah,
and her husband was hot. Like, gross.
Nick, you
Like,
had-
it was all like, come on.
Nick,
more do
you
you
had a
want?
bit about this a while.
I did a bit about it. Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
enjoying
just
that
about
bit.
how-
I was just like, "What a wacky sounding show."
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Well, Deb, we always make sure before we close the pod to ask 3 questions.
Okay, go.
And we almost always answer the first one kind of by accident. The first one is for the worst job is like, when were you done and how did you quit? Like, when did you know you had to leave the switchboard thing? Like, was there like a last straw or?
No, that was it was also because it's like my shift was early. Like I did the 7 to 3 shift, and then when I started doing comedy, it was just I was gonna like, I can't. There's no way I'm gonna be able to do this.
Yeah.
So so that's why I left from that, and also I was just done too. And I think too because I think the girls that I'd been working with, they started getting jobs elsewhere in the building, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like,
I don't want to do it with Tiffany.
Yeah, I can't. Like, I can't sit and chat with my bestie. I was just like, no, I'm not going to do this. So, yeah, I was kind of like, I probably even could have kept it part-time, but I was like, I just want away from the woman so bad.
Of course.
That I was like, get me out of here. So
did you get anything new right away, or were you just like, you actually had
that's
enough
when,
time?
that's when I started, I think I worked at a coffee shop for like the first year of doing stand-up, and then after that I moved into I was a receptionist for advertising agencies, but that's like started at 9,
low
they were
risk.
cash, very low risk, very easy.
Love a low risk deal. I mean, honestly, the TV thing should have been low risk, but
I should have been, but no.
Okay, question number 2 is, what's one good thing, which I think we know the answer to this question as well. What's one good thing you took from that very bad job? Maybe this TV gig later, or
the TV gig
else?
for sure. That was again like just like the best thing. You couldn't even have guessed that. But like during, like without saying that, lovely gift of a gig, it was just like without my boss, like it was this is awful. She had back surgery, and she was gone for like 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the best 3 months. We had so much fun. And I remember it was just like, it just felt like that, she's
We're
gone.
fine.
You know what I mean? The jailer is gone. Like the warden's not here. And it was the best 3 months. We had so much fun.
And
I remember
everybody did their job.
Oh God, everyone did their job and everything got done. And I remember people in the building being like, saying like, you girls, everyone's in such a good mood. We're like, yeah, because she's gone. It was just, it was one of the, but it was also like too, because we did work at a TV station, we got to do like, there was a lot of fun things to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like I met Lenny Kravitz, you know what I mean? It's like, it was just because there's always someone
what
playing.
What about rabbits? What did you?
Like there was always someone playing in Much Music, and they'd go, "You guys want to go watch?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And so like, I remember like, you met Lenny Kravitz, and I met like,
Lenny Kravitz.
I loved the Black Crowes in the 90s, my favorite band. I loved Chris Robinson, the singer, so much, and it was like they were coming in, and one of the security guards was like, "Do you want to bring him coffee?" And I was like, "Yes, I want to bring coffee." So I got to go into the green room and be like, "Here's your coffee." And then like he talked to me, and he was, "Oh, you going to the show tonight?" And I was like, "No, I didn't get tickets," because it was a little tiny show that he was doing at a club. And he was like, "I'll put you on my guest list." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, it was just so little fun things like that. Of course, it was parties that we would work, and it was just
that's the stuff that's supposed to happen at those kinds of things.
That's the stuff that's supposed to happen.
Yeah,
exactly, and it did, and it really, really did. But it was like interspersed with a demon woman for a boss.
And it's just the gift of her breaking her back or whatever.
Yes, was not the funny part.
We didn't have to feel bad for us, Canadian healthcare.
No, she was fine. And you know, too, they had no reason. They couldn't find a reason for why she had such back pain.
Oh,
But none.
Because
They
she's
were
been
just
poisoning herself from
she
within.
like literally, she was like stooped over, and the doctors were like, "We don't know what's wrong with you." And then we're like, "We do. She's evil."
yeah.
She's
She's
crooked.
back.
She's
Like
a
a
piece
soul.
of shit.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But yeah, so that job, I mean, that job had a lot of fun. That had a lot of fun as well.
Right,
So.
right. Okay, well, in question number 3,
Okay.
it's a little bit bigger picture, a little different. Is like, you know, the last, I don't know, what is it now, 6 months of quarantine or whatever, shelter in place, or like eat outside if you want, whatever we've been doing. You know, everything has been kind of on pause. Like, you know, a lot of creative aspirations, performance, etc., have been on pause. What happens, or like, have you been thinking about like what happens if that doesn't really get on paused in like a significant enough way, you know, for you? Like, what have you been thinking about there?
Oh, this is because you know, I'm a stand-up. You know what I mean? Like I am a stand-up, and you know, I just I mean, it scares me. Like I try not to think about it too much because it makes me too upset. But it's like, I mean, yes, am I a writer? Sure, we're all writers. All stand-ups are writers, of course. But I don't have a lot of writing in my like arsenal. Like I don't have like, you know, a resume of, and I wrote on this show and I wrote on so like becoming a writer that's not going to be an easy transition for me. Do you know?
And it's also you're also like quite a personality. You know what I mean? And so it is a joy to watch live.
Thank you.
And so you know, writing is for sure
writing
an avenue.
It's a different avenue. It really is, and that's why, you know, I've been very fortunate in my career that I've been able to just kind of be a personality and do stand up. So that really scares me if it doesn't get to come back to, I mean, I know we'll you know, we'll go left. We'll figure out a way to do it, because I mean, I do as many Zoom shows that'll have me. You know what I mean? I seriously, I will, because I have to, I'm quite literally ill without it. So I have to try to, I have to do something. So, I don't know. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm surprised that someone hasn't really figured it out yet. You know what I mean?
Coronavirus.
But like how for us to perform? Do you know what I mean? Like that to me, it's
performing.
like,
I think,
you think like, you know, who's doing a good job? Hunter Hill. Have you seen with the Super Serious Show? Have you seen that? Have you done that? He's doing like a he hooked up with a production company, and they're doing like a Zoom, but you go in live, so you're there and it's all, you know, distanced and safe. But it's like the Zoom is like a big like wall of televisions. So like when there's Zoom, but you can see their faces. And they interact with you, and you can see people. And
so
that was the closest thing.
Like you're zooming in, and they're sitting as a unit.
No, you see, I'm there as with the comics are there, and they're all zoomed in. So, but it's like this huge wall. So like it's like big screens where you see like 40 people.
The
and
audience
they sort of
the
audience is thank you. Yeah, and they shift it, and then it's like 40 new people come in and it's the closest thing to proper comedy,
because you can see multiple faces. You get multiple impressions all at once,
and you're there behind a mic.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? And the crew is, you know, they're spaced out. So there's energy from them. And that was the closest thing that I've done.
Yeah.
Like even an outdoor show or whatever. It's
just
still
because when you're on stage, there's so much information that the person who's on stage is gathering from the room.
And socially distance is really hard, because we need energy. And when it's like they're already far away from you and they're all far away from each other, it just doesn't totally work. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
Sure, you don't have to have an answer.
I don't really have a plan B. My plan is just to hope and pray that it comes back in some.
Which it will.
way, shape,
I mean,
or
it's
form.
just a question of time.
It will. It's just when. That's exactly it.
Yeah, I think the fact that even when this was at its worst, they were still trying to figure out how to do it is a good sign that it'll eventually come back. Like it
will. That's exactly it. You know, because it's people saying that comedy is dead is driving me crazy. It's just like, stop, everybody. Yeah, I know what you're doing.
It's taking a nap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, all those people suck anyways.
That's exactly it. And then, you know what?
It's dead for you because you're a shit comedian.
That's exactly it. And you know, there will be a bit of a thinning of the herd. There will be. There will be. And God bless. And that's fine.
But that's what every comic's been waiting for anyways. It's like, that's what we all want is
it takes a pandemic. It takes a pandemic.
Christ.
Oh, man.
I mean, we hope they all live. We do hope they live.
Me too. Oh, God bless. Yeah.
We just hope that they move home.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm very satisfied by those answers.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Oh, where can people find you on the internet? if you'd like to be found?
Debra DG at Instagram. That's where I'm probably at the most. DEBRADG. And then my full name, Debra Digiovanni, on Twitter. So.
And we'll put those links in the show notes.
Please do.
Well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. It's been a blast.
It's nice to see you. I'll
Nice to
see
see
you
you.
at some point.
Yeah.
But thank you for this. This was fun.
Of course. And fuck this
Appreciate it.
place.
All
Fuck
right.
this place.
Fuck this place!
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. If you want to text the podcast, that number is 470-223-5627. That's 470-223-5627. If you want to watch the show on YouTube, all you got to do is go to YouTube and you can search FCK This Place Podcast, or links in the show notes. There's that thing, it's called the link tree. It's the link to everything. If you ever wanted to share the podcast, share that link, and the YouTube link is there too. So, have at it. All right, bye for now.